Hi, my name's Kim. You're here in my home, and today we're responding to the issue of race around the world. I've been deeply affected emotionally by the situation in America with the killing of George Floyd, and thinking about what it means to respond here in our own context in Australia. Essentially, we've curated a collection of videos, and they've been placed in a particular order aimed at reflection. And so we're going to hear from some different people. First up, we're going to hear from Ben Harper. One of the best concerts I've ever seen was from Ben Harper at Festival Hall. I miss the days of being in a room with lots of people. And Ben Harper's written a song a few years ago called Call It What It Is. And it's a song about murder. It's a song just crying out for murder to be named as what it is. And I think this song, it's a hard-hitting song. You'll see the intensity with which he sings it, and is very relevant today with the killing of George Floyd. For me, I've been processing the situation in America. And what is it about, because we're here in Australia, a different country, but America feels a bit like a relative. When America's hard-pressed or hard-hit, I find, I feel it emotionally. I remember the waves of emotion globally at the time of September 11. And every year there's trauma and trouble and conflict and violence all around the world. But there's something about America that, for me personally at least, I feel it. And I've been thinking about what it means to respond. Clearly people are profoundly struggling. There's a sense of great injustice and people desire to be heard. So America faces the issue of race. But here we are in Australia, and we have our own issues of race, both past and present. We remember the hundreds of people who've died in custody. And so after hearing from Ben Harper, we're going to hear from the Australian poet Joel McKerrow. And Joel McKerrow presented a collection of poems called My Confessions. And this poem is the first part of a collection of 4 poems, and he called it the white part. And what I love about Joel's poem is he just wears the fact that he's a white man in the context of colonialism, in the context of present day issues. He makes no excuses. He doesn't cover over the privileges or the opportunities that have come at the gross expense of others. He just wears it and he says sorry. And as you hear Joel McKerrow perform his poem on that video, I want to say I stand with him as he conveys those words so beautifully, and I want to again say I'm sorry. For me personally, I actually really struggle with moments like this of video communication. For me, the heart of reconciliation isn't about projecting an opinion. The heart of reconciliation is about loving real people. My wife and I, about a decade ago, got to live in the Kimberley for a year, and one of my purposes, and Kate's, was to build friendships with Indigenous people in that context. I remember my next door neighbour, Dennis. He was really struggling. His mother had died some years ago. He was an Aboriginal man, and there was a night he was just crying out, weeping and wailing. And I remember just making a cup of tea, a couple of cups of tea, and just sitting next to this man who was weeping and wailing, and drinking a cup of tea with him, and trying to just be present to soothe some of that pain. And for me, that felt like the real thing in terms of reconciliation, actual just moments of love with people. Nevertheless, we present this as an opportunity to reflect. And so we're going to hear from Brooke Prentice. She's an Aboriginal leader and CEO of Common Grace. Common Grace, a Christian organisation concerned with justice. And you're going to hear her reflections on the Good Samaritan. We've also got Lu Yi. She's a member of our church community, and she's going to read the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes are some of the most profound words ever uttered. They're the words of Jesus. They're extraordinary words. And the Beatitudes is what our world needs. There's this thirst for justice. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be filled. And at the same time, there is mercy. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. What the world needs is peacemakers. The peacemakers are the children of God. People in mourning need hope. The poor need to be lifted up. Jesus sees reality in an absolutely beautiful and transformative way. And we're going to reflect on those Beatitudes as well. And we'll offer some prayers. So come and join with me. We're going to hear now from Ben Harper and go through this. And I want to encourage you to reflect and to open your heart to others and to think about what your response will be in the thick of this strange time in which we find ourselves in. So may you know God's peace as you travel on this journey with us, and may you know truth and grace as well.